Welcome to USB Hole, the podcast where we talk out of our asses. This week we will be talking about our pet peeves. Do you remember when you had to write like an essay and you would say Webster's dictionary said this? Well, I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't look up what Webster's dictionary said, but pet peeves are something that you find annoying that other people may or may not, but they really piss you off. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Do you want to start us off with a pet peeve of yours?
Yeah, I love talking about stuff that annoys me.
Me too.
Uh, hey, I'm the child.
Oh,
And
yeah, I didn't
this,
introduce us, did I?
hey, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm chill, by the way.
um, yeah. All right, I'm going to start with one that's like not my biggest one, like kind of ease myself into it
Okay.
and see if maybe these things drive you crazy too. So, like, I have this thing where like this happens to me all the time and it drives me nuts. Like, I will say something. And then a couple minutes later, in the same conversation, somebody else will say exactly what I said, but they'll act like they just thought of it for the first time and I didn't just say it, and then like take all of the credit. And then everyone else in the conversation is like, oh, yeah, so and so, that's so true. And they'll like go on and on about it as if that person said it and I didn't even exist. And it's so annoying. Like, just it's not even like a taking credit for other people's things. It's like that specific, like, I literally just said that. Did you not hear me talking type of situation?
And it's annoying because you just know that no one was listening to you. It's like, do you
Right?
even care?
Am I even here? Like, am I a part of this conversation? Does
Yeah,
that happen to you?
I didn't have that on my list, but now that you say it, I should have because that pisses me off. It's like people aren't listening to you, they're just waiting for you to finish talking so that they could say what they want to say. That's not a
Which
conversation.
is, yeah. And then it's like, you don't have your own ideas, you have to take mine. Like,
Yeah.
word for word, exactly what I said, you know?
Even people do that online. Like I'll say something funny and no one will see it just because of who I am as a person. And then someone else will take it and other people will actually see it and they'll be like, "Ah, that's so funny." Like, no, you're a thief.
Like, I literally just said that.
Literally just said that.
Yeah. So if that one really counts as like a pet peeve or just an annoyance, but it's a good jumping off point. It's like,
I
what's one of
mean,
yours?
pet peeves are just annoyances, so really it definitely is. My first one is also something that other people do, which is saying to be fair.
To
So
be fair.
when you're talking and they want to be annoying and say something that I don't I don't even know why they do it. Is it like a power thing? I don't know. But I'll say something, they'll be like, "Well, to be fair, it's like devil's advocate." And
It's pretentious.
yeah, I'm not having a conversation to argue with you all the time, and I'm not having a conversation for you to tell me the other side of the story all the time. I'm just having a fucking conversation.
Yeah, that's it doesn't really bother me that much. I wouldn't say it's like a pet peeve of mine, but it is a little irritating. It's like I said, for me, I feel like it sounds so pretentious.
Yeah,
And I
it's
know that
pretentious.
you, yeah, like, I've been trying so hard to get you to watch the show, and they're constantly like, they feel the same way, and I feel like you need to watch it for that reason. To
Well,
be fair.
I know that a lot of people do it just like at this point, it's just their vernacular. And I know they're not trying to be annoying, but if you say to be fair, it's just, you're just trying to be argumentative. That's all it
Yeah,
is. I mean, there's no other reason to say it. Or
I
there's other
definitely.
ways to say it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So that's my number one pet peeve for now, at least.
Oh, you're number one for now?
I think I didn't put these in any particular order, so I'm not sure, but I think that was my number one.
Another one of mine is when you're driving down the road or you're sitting at a traffic light and someone throws their fucking cigarette butt out the window. it drives me nuts. Like, you are risking, aside from the littering, like the littering alone irritates me, but like aside from the littering, like you trying to burn down the whole planet, like put it in your ashtray. Like put like that's your trash. Keep it in your car. Drives me nuts. Even this morning I was watching this lady out front at work, security camera, just chuck her cigarette butt out into the parking lot. And I'm like, dude, pick it up. Like, it takes all of my energy at the traffic light to not get out of my car and pick up a cigarette butt and put it in someone's car and be like, oh, excuse me, you dropped this. But like that's a little dangerous for me.
You're
But
gonna
it
hate
drives
me
me
though
nuts.
because I used to do this.
It drives me nuts.
I am reformed, but I did used to do this. Um,
I'm, I'm
so
glad you're
I
reformed.
I really have nothing to say about it because it doesn't
Oh no.
it pisses me off when someone seems to throw one directly at your car because at that point the sparks have not yet dissipated. And I'm like, I'm going to run over this thing and my tire is going to explode. But I'm not saying it's right, but I get it because cars no longer have ashtrays, which is really rude. But go buy an ashtray on Amazon. That's what I did. It's not that
Yeah.
expensive.
When I smoked cigarettes, I always kept a water bottle with water in the bottom to put my
Yeah,
cigarettes in. I
I
never
did
threw
that
them out the
too.
window. I never threw them on the ground. Like, I have literally, living here in Florida, have seen wildfires started because somebody threw a lit cigarette out the window. Like you want to smoke, like that's cool. That's your choice. Well, that's not cool, but that's your choice. But don't make everyone else suffer because you just needed to like not take an extra 3 seconds to put your cigarette somewhere else other than out the window.
You heard it here, folks. A child thinks it's cool to smoke.
No, 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 that's not what I said. You're so cool. Twisting my words around. Oh gosh. All right, you go with another one.
All right, so this one is kind of weird, but I wanted to put it because I want to know if this bothers anyone else. So when someone says that something is theirs, specifically saying my. So an example of this is someone who says, "Oh, I can't get by without my coffee. I can't get by without my cigarette. I can't get by without," like, for some reason putting my in front of it just pisses me off. And I don't know why, but it's like you're not the only person in the world who needs coffee to get through the day. And you're not
Yeah,
the only
you're
person in the world who needs a cigarette to get through the day. Like, I don't know why it drives me nuts, but it does.
like putting a possession or an ownership onto an inanimate object or like a
Right.
not even an actual object, just the idea of an object.
Yeah, it just sounds so narcissistic to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it bothers me so much. Like, everything is yours, 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 like you're a child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never thought about that before, but I definitely could see it. Like, I could see how it could be annoying, but it's definitely not something I ever really paid much attention to before.
Yeah, I try to get real weird with these, trying to find deep
Yeah.
down what the weirdest stuff is that annoys me. And not a lot of people seem to do it, which is nice, but the people that do it all the time, like it's a personality trait.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know if it's the person or the phrase alone. I had a best friend who did it and it pissed me off. So I don't think it's the person. I think it's just the phrase.
You can see that.
I'm getting heated up
Mm.
over here already, and we're only two in.
Oh gosh. Oh man. Well, apparently most of mine have to do with being in the car, and I didn't even realize it. Because I get real heated when people don't use their directional, like a turn signal to change lanes or
Oh
to
my
turn.
God.
Like, and that drives me nuts. I like tell me you're changing lanes, even if you're cutting me off with no notice. Just tell me you're gonna do it. Just like
Yes.
flip it on. It takes the least amount of time. Like, you literally have to, like, while you're spinning your hand on the wheel, just flick it on the way by. Like, it's not that hard to do. Like, just use a directional. Tell me where you're going. That drives me nuts. Always has.
Well, first off, I've never heard it called a directional, so that's kind of fun. Also, this definitely pisses me off because I a lot of accidents would be avoided if you just used a turn signal.
Yes.
And you're supposed to let people know what you're doing, and that's all you have to do as a driver. Is just let other
Yeah.
people know what you're doing, and then they'll get out of your way.
Yeah. Let's break this down for people listening who don't know what I'm talking about. This is your directional, your indicator, your turn signal, your blinker, whatever you want to call it. Just click the damn thing before you switch lanes. It's not
right
that hard.
there. It's right there. Your hand is already
Yes.
up there.
I'm so glad we agree on this topic.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't disagreed with any of yours, but this one I am definitely heated about because I will use it to do stupid stuff, like even backing out of a parking. I don't do it all the time then, but I overuse it more than underuse it, I would say.
Yeah. Like I'm turning into a different lane in the parking lot. I'm going to use it. I'm turning into a parking space. That's how people know that you're trying to take that parking space. Like indicated to you with my signal that I was going to take that space. Like
there will still be dicks that come out of nowhere and try and take it though, no matter.
Oh yeah. Oh God. We can just merge into a whole nother one about people taking parking spaces. That wasn't even on my list, but yeah, oh God, that drives me nuts too.
That's because that's beyond a pet peeve, and that's just you're a dick.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let me have another one of yours.
Let's see, what one do I want next? Okay, so this one's kind of convoluted, and I think it might actually be a disorder more than a pet peeve, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So I have a problem with certain noises, whether it's repetitive noises or kind of like wavelength frequency of noises. And by frequency, I mean the amount and the pitch. I don't know if I have inner ear issues or if it's a disorder because I'm going to butcher this name, misophonia. I've seen that, which is a disorder where certain noises and beats and frequencies make you mad and it affects your life. So you get so angry that it literally affects your life, which not last month, 3 months ago now, I moved out of my old apartment, broke my lease because specifically of the noises of my downstairs neighbor. And she was crazy, but I won't get into that right now.
Yeah.
But so anything repetitive, like if someone sniffs a lot, if you're walking around sniffing all day, I will lose my freaking mind. The frequency of whistling, so like that noise, that wavelength, that like high pitched whistling noise drives me nuts. Mm-hmm. And then if someone has like their phone going at full blast, because it'll distort the sound. So that distortion also will drive me nuts as well. Talking about phone noises, if you still have a text noise on, stop. This is 2022. We all have our phones on silent at this point. Why
do you mean like the haptics? Like that? What? Like the haptics, like when you type and it like makes that little vibrating noise when you hit the buttons?
That's even worse. And if you're doing that, you're like 90. But I'm talking about just text noises in general. Put that crap on vibrate. But anyway, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But I don't know, I don't know if it, like I said, it's an inner ear problem or a brain problem possibly, but I get so angry at those noises. When that was happening with my neighbor, I couldn't do my job right. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I was having like stress hallucinations. So I think it's an actual disorder, but
I think so, man.
I'm gonna go with pet peeve for now.
That's like kind of linked to my number one, but there's like more to it and it's very specific. So I guess I'll just go with it because it kind of ties in together. But this is like my number one biggest pet peeve, drives me absolutely insane. Like you said, like I will get angry my skin crawls, like extremely irate, like 0 to 50 in like a matter of seconds. Like I will want to literally get up and punch you in the face. I absolutely cannot stand when people chew gum. Like chewing in general, like I don't want to hear you chew because it's gross and annoying, but the sound of people chewing gum, even with your mouth closed, I cannot stand it. It drives me absolutely crazy. The sound of it, like, get like, no, I can't even describe how irritating it is to me. Like, people are so gross when they chew. Like, they'll chew with your mouth closed, like, chew with your mouth open. People, like, you blow bubbles, or you pop the bubbles, or you smack it, or like when you talk and you're like holding the gum to the side. No, fuck off. Spit it out. You're not a cow. You don't need to chew stuff all day. Like, okay, if you have bad breath, pop in a mint. Your jaw hurts. Like, you don't need to chew, or like, oh no, it's a thing. And then like it never fails. Like you go everywhere and people just put it everywhere. It ruins things. I guarantee every single time I ever get a new pair of shoes, I'm stepping in gum the first fucking day I wear them. Like I don't know if it's like a karma thing or what, but the whole everything about gum and gum chewing, I absolutely cannot fucking stand it. Stay away from me with it. Like that's it. That's my number one. But I feel like that, like you mentioned yours and like the sound making you angry. Like, so I kind of like relate those two with that, but absolutely everything about it. I cannot stand it.
Well, it's funny because that disorder I was mentioning, like usually the number one thing that annoys people is chewing. And
Mm.
that doesn't bug me that much, which is
Yeah.
weird. Certain people, the way they chew, and I mean every single person chews differently. So it's like, one, if I already dislike the person, I'm probably going to hate how they chew just because the sheer fact that I don't like them. But that's a me problem. And then there are just certain people who sound wet when they chew.
Ew.
Why does your chewing sound wet? What are you doing in there? Dry that out. So I understand the gum thing because gum has a very wet chew to it, and it's like people are chewing cud like they're a cow.
Yes. Like, and why? You don't need to. Get a mint.
And I'll chew gum if I really don't have any other option. My breath is disgusting just because my boyfriend will usually have some on him, but I think I can count on one hand the number of times I chew gum a year because it's just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like what do I even need this for except for the random emergency?
Yeah.
I don't go
Mm.
out. What do I need gum for? But yeah, I get it. It doesn't make me irrationally angry like a lot of other sounds do, but yeah, stop. Chew with your mouth closed first off. If you're gonna chew, at least the very minimum, chew with your mouth closed. Especially with a
Yeah.
pandemic going on, if you're in public, that's weird. Just don't do that. And then also stop making it so wet.
Chew dryer.
Yes, if we could have drier chews, I would be happier in my life.
Dry chews. Thank you. Oh gosh. All right. Hit me with another one.
Okay, another weird one. If a smoke detector is out of batteries and you don't change the batteries, how do you live like that? How
With
do you
that annoying
live?
chirp.
That chirp, it drives me nuts. And I used to work for a property management company, so I would have to go in and inspect apartments all the time. I would have to work on site with apartments and stuff, and they're without fail always somebody with the chirps, and I can hear it from the driveway. And it's like, how do you live with that first off, and how are your neighbors not complaining? And then there was one time I went into an Arby's and their smoke detector battery was out, and I heard the chirping, and I was like, is someone gonna do something about that? And they're like, about what? I was like, the chirping, do you not hear it? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like I have
Um,
PTSD because I can hear those things a mile away.
well, and like aside from how annoying the sound is, like it's dangerous.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's not gonna work if the battery's chirping like that. I went when I was in high school, I went to go visit a friend up in New York, and I stayed there for like a week. And the whole time, one of the smoke detectors was chirping like that, and I'm like how? And it was like at the top of the stairwell, so like you need like some special big old ladder to get up there to change it. So I couldn't even be like, let me just do this. But yeah, that is pretty annoying. I'm on board with that.
I would have immediately left that situation because that makes me so mad. Because, well, when I was working for that property company, if I heard someone's smoke alarm going off, like they were responsible to replace their own batteries and light bulbs after they moved in. So if they didn't do it for like a week and I kept hearing it, I would call maintenance on them, make maintenance go change their battery, and then charge them like $30 for doing so. Because
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
rude
yeah, it's
and
annoying to the people
dangerous.
in the other apartments. Yeah, you burn down someone else's apartment because you're too lazy to change your batteries. Get your
Right.
shit together.
And
You
that's why,
listening to this? Change your battery in your smoke detector right now. Well, when this is done, when you're done listening, then go do it.
please do it. Like, you're gonna burn down your house. And that's why we, as the property management company, could go in legally and do that, because even if they didn't put in a work order, because that's our building. Like,
Yeah, it's
you could
so
be burning
dangerous.
down our building, you could be hurting other people. That's not okay.
Yeah.
But I heard there was someone that I'm friends with that on their Snapchat every single day they were taking videos and you can hear it in the background. It was like,
Mm.
I just don't understand. If hit us up on Twitter because I want to know if any of you live like this and I want to know how. Chillin'
Yeah.
child. Chillin' child, is that it? Chillin' the
Yeah.
child?
Chillin' child.
Okay. I don't even know our own socials and I run them. It's okay.
Yeah, on Twitter we're at Chillin' Child,
Okay.
and yeah, and let us know also your opinion on any of the other topics or pet peeves, and what some of yours are that we might have not talked about. How you feel about ours? If all of yours are traffic related, like my next one is also traffic related. This wasn't even intentional. Um,
That's so
when
funny.
people change lanes in the intersection, fuck off.
That's illegal.
I am It is illegal. And I already have so many things going through my mind when I'm going through the intersection. Is somebody going to accidentally swerve into my lane? Is somebody going to run a red light? Like, there are so many other things to pay attention to safely going through the intersection. You don't need to change lanes. Like, wait, like 100 feet, man. Like, just wait. It drives me nuts. I tweet about this all the time, like every year. It's 2020. Why are we changing lanes in the intersection? It's 2021. Why are we still changing lanes in the intersection? Like, why? Why can't you wait? I need a good, valid reason from somebody on why they can't wait until they're out of the intersection to change lanes.
The only acceptable excuse is this happened to me once. Um, I was like maybe a car or two back from the light and it turned green and all of us started going forward and the two people in front of me didn't, they immediately changed over to the other lane and I was like, what's happening? As soon as you got across the intersection there were a bunch of cones and crap up so you couldn't get through in that lane. And so these people didn't, there was no indication, no nothing that said ahead of time that that lane was closed off. So the two people in front of me quickly got over and I was in the intersection like, well, what do I do?
Yeah,
There was a
that's
truck
different.
coming and
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it was bad, but that's a
that's
very
yeah,
weird
that's like an
circumstance.
extenuated circumstance where like
Yeah.
there's an emergency, or like an emergency vehicle, there's no traffic around, an emergency vehicle's coming. Okay, I could see you changing lanes, but you also made sure there was no other traffic. But don't be changing into my lane because a fire truck's coming. Just stop. Like, get out of my way.
And if there's a
But
fire truck coming, you should probably get out of the intersection anyway. What if he has to turn?
exactly. Yeah. Which, yeah, same thing. Like, all of my stuff is traffic related, because now I'm thinking about how I get annoyed when people don't stop for emergency vehicles, or they pull out in front of them, or like you stop and they don't stop and they're behind you and they're like, haha, you're not getting back in. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Traffic in general is my pet peeve, I think.
If everyone could just stop driving, that would be great.
Yeah. Just everyone stay off the road but me.
I'm over it. I don't even have a
Yeah.
car right now, but I'm over it.
Yeah. Give me another weird one. I like
All
yours.
right.
They're weirder than mine.
I tried to get as weird as possible. I wanted to dig deep down and see how annoying I could be. So I've decided that this next one is probably actually my number one because I don't know. They could all be my number one. It depends on what day it is. So being told to do something when you were already going to do it. First off, I don't like being told what to do in general. I'm just that type of
Mm.
person.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I'll be doing something and someone will call me and be like, I need you to do this. And I'm like, well, I was already doing it and now I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it anymore. Or my mom would come in when I was a kid and be like, you need to clean your room as I'm cleaning my room. Well, no, I'm not gonna do
Like,
oh
I'm
no, I'm not gonna
already
do it.
doing it.
Yeah. So it's like I don't think I don't think the people I was just talking about have a power trip thing, but I know that some people like bosses or micromanagers will do that
Yeah.
just to display. I have a problem with power. So it
Yeah.
seems because some of these had power tripping narcissistic
Yeah.
tendencies behind them, I think. So I just have
Yeah.
a problem with power and control and the man. So I guess that's just who I am as a person.
Don't keep me down. Don't keep chill down. That's why
just
she chill.
just let me do what I want to do, man.
Yeah. Let her roam. Let her roam free. Let her
Yeah,
do her own thing at her own time.
exactly. How do you feel about
Yeah.
this?
Um, it doesn't bother me too much because I pretty much don't listen when people talk to me, which I know you know, it's just like the same thing as reading. Like you text me, I'm only gonna read half the sentence because I'm
That
just in my own
tracks.
world all the time. Yeah. But if I'm already doing something and then somebody tells me to do it, but I'm already doing it, and then they're like, "Oh, you only did that because I told you to."
Uh,
That I do find that annoying. Like if you tell me to do it and then you realize I was already doing it and you're like, oh, okay, cool, you're doing it. Awesome, thanks. Like, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. But if I'm already doing it and then you take the credit for doing it, that
yes.
bothers me. Not that I need to have credit. I just don't like when people take away from other people. You know what I mean? Like that's the part of it that bothers me. It's
100%.
like like if I'd asked you to make something, but you were already making it, and then I went and told everyone, oh, yeah, it was my idea, that's not okay.
And anytime we share each other's stuff on like social media, we'll give each other credit because that's just how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Also,
But
narcissists.
yeah, there's a pattern emerging here, Sarah.
Exactly. I think we made it through our top
Uh,
five. Do you have any that are honorable mentions?
well, since I kind of went out of order because I went with the traffic and my gum went all the way on there, I do have like two other ones. Like one of them is not it's not a big deal, but to me it drives me crazy. Like, so I know a lot of pet peeves, like people will say, has to do with like speaking, the way people say stuff or like refer to things. So for those who don't know, which I mean, you guys don't really know me, so obviously you wouldn't know, but I'm an English major. I went to school to be an English teacher. Like, grammar is my passion. Like, when I talk, I talk again. I'm in my own world. So I'm going to say like a lot. And I know that drives Sarah crazy, but that's what I do. It's just, that's who I am as a person. But like, if I'm writing something or having like a formal conversation, it's different. Like, I will code switch in an instant. When people say supposedly, I just punch them. That's not a word. Supposedly. Supposed to. Supposed to. Supposedly. It's not supposedly. There's no fucking B in that word. I can't stand that. That drives me nuts. Also, when people say probably instead of probably or just probably, it's probably and supposedly. And I don't care how cunty this makes me sound. That drives me nuts. They're not words. If you speak a different language and you're learning the English language, that's a different story. You haven't learned the words yet. But if you are above the age of 12, you should know English words if you're an English speaking person. It's not supposedly.
Or when people, oh, what was the other one I was thinking of? I can't remember now. I could go on about words all day, and actually one of my honorable mention ones is about words. So you know that I hate lose and loose. Why can't people get that straight? If there are two
Yeah.
O's in it, it's loose. Loose, you say it. If there's one O, it's a hard stop, lose. You can even hear it in the words themselves. Why are you saying or spelling it wrong? Obviously, people don't say it wrong, but they spell it wrong all the
Yeah.
time.
Let me give you a trick, people. If you're somebody who does this, loose rhymes with goose. Loose goose. Spell it the same. There's two O's in goose. There's two O's in loose. Lose has one O. Get it right. Don't tweet at us if you don't know the difference, because we're going to correct you. We're going to call you out on social media. Hit us up.
Also, if you put that you could care less,
Oh,
I will slap you. It's couldn't care less. If you could care less, that means you could care less. It's literally in the words.
I could not care less.
But I could, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, those are two completely different opposite things. I don't know why anyone's getting that mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
okay, while we're on the topic of words, cannot is one word. If you're not using a contraction and putting CA''T for the word can't, and you're saying I cannot do that, it's CANNOT. It is one word. Stop making it two words. It's one word. Those are my biggest.
Unless you're trying to do emphasis, like, but then it has to all be capitalized. Can not.
Put a little in between.
Exactly.
Like a hand clap. Yeah.
But speaking of apostrophes, could have and should have, or could have and should have. They are not could of and should of. Have. The word is have. There's a VE.
I'm getting so excited and angry at the same time over these word topics.
we should probably do another one. Okay, I'll do another one since I have like 4 more.
Okay.
I don't like lines. That's
you don't like
it.
What?
Lines. I don't like waiting in lines.
Oh, okay.
That's
a line. I thought you were saying limes like the food. I was like, I'm not understanding.
Fuck limes.
Get the fuck out of here with your limes, bro.
I hate citrus. I do hate citrus, actually.
Yeah. So any line at all? Like, is it like a 1-2 person over a specific amount of people or time, just in general?
I would consider a line probably more than like 4 people. If it's something that's going to take more than 10 minutes, I'm out. I'm done.
Is that because you're impatient, or like what do you think the deal is with that? Yeah.
I just nothing unless it's something that's super worth it to me, which is a very limited amount of things.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting in line. People in the in and out line goes quickly, but there are people that are twice wrapped around the stupid building and it's just a burger. I don't understand. Their fries are shit. So I guess my pet peeve is waiting in line for In and Out, because what is wrong with you people?
Oh, let's talk about In and Out on the episode that we're going to do soon about things that are overhyped.
Yes.
So if you feel strongly about In and Out, make sure you come back to that episode. Not you, I mean the listeners. You better come back.
I'll definitely be here.
I'm pretty impatient, but to an extent, I don't mind waiting in a line. But like, I'm not going to an amusement park and waiting in a line like that. No, like, I'll wait in a line at the grocery store because I refuse to use self-checkouts. So I will wait in line for 30 minutes over using a self-checkout, just on the principle of the matter. But other than that, that doesn't really bother me too much.
You should have put that in a weird habit, because I go straight for the self-checkout, even if there's a line and there's no line at a teller. Is that what they're called? Cashier. This isn't a bank.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to people, so I will head directly to self-checkout.
Yeah. See, I don't want to talk to people, but I will go to the cashier or at the bank. I'll go to the teller over the ATM if the bank's open, only because I want to keep somebody having a job. That's my thing when it comes to self checkouts and using technology rather than a person. I will go to the person so that someone stays employed. That's like a different type of thing. So I don't think it's
Yeah,
so much as like a weird habit. It's I'm just trying to help out the little guy have a job rather than
I
like big
feel that.
corporations. Yeah.
I have
Yeah. So it's a
crippling
little bit.
social anxiety, so I
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, especially if I have a lot of things and I need stuff bagged and I'm
Yeah.
terrible at bagging things for some reason. Like I'm good at Tetris, can't bag for shit. I don't get it. But if I have a lot of things, I will 100% go to the cashier because I'm not about that life. But if
Yeah.
it's just like one or two things and if it looks like the cashier wants nothing to do with me and won't talk to me about anything, I'll go to them. But if someone's
Yeah.
like super friendly looking, it's like,
Yeah. Is the
sorry,
risk
bud.
worth the reward at that point?
Right.
Yeah. I Yeah, so I don't know, but when it comes to like Biden itself, I don't think it bothers me as much. I don't think it's weird that that like it bothers you, but I don't think it bothers me as much.
I usually
But
go to the teller over an ATM though, because ATMs suck half the time and I don't trust them. But there was
yeah,
one time I was waiting in line at the bank, random story, has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I was waiting in line at the bank and I wanted to go to the teller because I was getting cash for my nephew's birthday or something. I don't know what I was getting cash for, but it was to put in like a card or something. And I needed a 5. So I was like, well, I have to go to the teller because this ATM doesn't do fives. So I was waiting in line and I think it was a manager or something came up to me and he was like, oh, what are you here for? And I was like, oh, just getting cash. And he was like, oh, well, there's an ATM over there. Why don't you use it? And I was like, no, I'm just going to wait for the teller. And he was like, do you not know how to use an ATM? Because I can help you. And I looked at him
uh,
and I was like, does your ATM give out fives? And he was like, oh, no. And I was like, then get out of my face. Like he was
yeah,
being
I
so
can,
rude. Like I was in my 20s at
yeah,
the time. You think I don't know how to use an ATM?
yeah.
I grew up with this crap.
Well, speaking of ATMs, that it it does drive me crazy when people say ATM machine because
Uh,
it's already in the like it's already there. So
or PIN
it's spelled
number.
an odd. Yeah, it's already there. You might not know those are acronyms or abbreviations. They stand for something. You don't have to say it twice. Look it up.
Yes.
UTS. Google that shit. Not a sponsor.
I don't remember
Oh
whose turn
man.
it was. Is it your turn? Do you have any left?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna say, so not necessarily like so for you with the waiting in line, I'm sure it drives you crazy because it's like a waste of your time. I don't like when people don't have respect for other people's time in the sense of if you are more than like I'm gonna even give you a leeway and say 5 minutes. I don't like when people are late. Like I'm generally 15 to 20 minutes early for everything. It's just who I am as a person. It's very annoying. I get that. I don't expect you to be early, but I would like you to at least be on time. If you are more than 5 minutes late, or it's 3 hours after we're supposed to do something and you're not ready to do it, my work phone keeps ringing here. Sorry about that, guys. Um, well, I talk about respect for other people's time. This is my time. Um, you like if and especially if you can't even like take the time to be like, hey, I'm running late or something, or you're just don't even care at all. Hot, hot subject matter in our family. My sister and her husband are late for everything. They know it drives me nuts. They operate on a hey, time is time, just a contract, like whatever. We'll get there when we get there. That bothers me. Like if we're having a holiday dinner and dinner is supposed to be at 3 o'clock and we're finally sitting down to eat and it's 10 o'clock at night, like that's not okay. Like that's just rude. Like you don't have respect for what I was doing for the past 7 hours, or what I maybe could have been doing if I wasn't waiting for you for 7 hours. So if you're going to be more than 5 minutes late, you better send a text or make a phone call and let somebody know you're going to be late, because it's annoying. I went to something this past weekend, and the event was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. So I got there at 5:30 because I was going to help set. Well, the people whose event it was didn't get there until 5 to 6. Well, you can't set up for something that starts at 6 if you're not there until 6. So that drives me nuts.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. The only reason I didn't put this on here is because I know we have a topic about annoying things friends have done or something like that. I can't remember what I called it, but that was gonna be on mine because that'll end a friendship for me. Because you obviously don't give a shit about me.
We can definitely circle back to that, because I'm sure we could both go on a lot further about it in that episode. So be on time, guys. Punctuality is a thing.
Yeah. And that also leads me into I have two more. So one of mine is being ghosted, which I know we have a topic about this too, but I'm just going to very briefly say, if you're going to be late, if you're going to cancel on somebody, or if you're going to not hire them for a job, just send an email, send a text. Ghosting people is so rude. I am more mad at the fact that someone won't communicate with me than if they told me that they're ditching me completely, or like not giving me the job or whatever. I would be happier. I'll be disappointed, of course, but I will be happier if someone just tells me, oh, I can't come or whatever, because then I can plan my day accordingly. I'm not sitting around waiting for your stupid ass to come and you're not even coming.
Yeah. And regardless of the situation, whether it be business, friendship, relationship, like whatever, just send a text. Hey, I'm not going to do this. So much easier than like all of the BS games that come at it. Like, but yeah, we'll definitely, we'll dive more into that as well in an upcoming episode. That was all of the ones that were on my list. So if you had another one, we can just skip me and you. I've been agreeing with a lot of yours, but like, I don't know, I wrote down like 7 of my like biggest ones. But we do like to pull stuff out of our ass more than actually like prepare. So, and I also don't want it to seem like I have so many grievances and I'm so irritated by everything.
I'm just mad all the time.
I'm not always mad. But yeah. Or, well, I guess I don't know if this counts, but like I have like at work, so I own my own business. You know that, but for the listeners. So I kind of operate on my own timeline. I have my set hours, but they do fluctuate depending on what I have going on. But it just seems like it never fails. If I have an appointment or I have something going on, or it's 2 minutes before I'm about to lock the door for the day, that's when somebody wants to come and be as like long of a customer. Like, yeah, customers are great. They pay the bills and all that, but it goes back to a respect for someone else's time. And like, if you know that you made an appointment and I told you that I have an appointment at 1:30, don't show up at 1:30. Like, I do a lot of consultations and I try my best to make sure I don't double book on the same day so that there's no chance of an overlap if something rolls over. So I try to book them in the afternoon, or I try to book them on the weekends, like especially Sundays. And I had this one person who I told them the exact time that I was not available to please come between such and such time and such time. They came smack dab in the middle of the other appointment and then were rude and nasty to one of my employees because they were trying to assist her rather than me assisting her when I was clearly in the middle of a consultation with other people. And like, they were specifically told I would not be available. So it's like, don't come in here and be rude to my customers because you weren't listening. Like, just respect for other people's time again. Like, I plan my stuff how I plan it for a reason, and you need to be like okay with that. Like if I'm doing something like this, we plan these so that you're off of work because we're in different time zones. So sometimes I'm doing these recordings and it's like 9 o'clock at night. So I'll plan my day accordingly so that we're in better time zones. Like don't come in when I already told you I was busy. Like you wouldn't make this appointment, or not appointment, but like schedule for us to record this podcast like when you know I'm deep diving in the middle of a busy day at work. It's
Right.
like respect when someone says they're busy. That does bother me.
It's back to that narcissism thing. People think they're
Yeah.
more entitled, or people think that their time is more important than other people's.
Yes.
And it's
That is
like,
exactly how yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't give a shit
Your
who you
time,
are.
yeah, your time is not more important than my time. Yes, that's a good way of wording it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have one more?
So this one's kind of weird, but I think anyone who has heard this before can relate to this. And it doesn't happen that often. I haven't heard it that often, but I have heard it enough to where it annoys me a little bit. It's not the biggest annoyance, but anyone who says that they don't give 100s, they don't give A's, they don't give 5 out of 5s ever. So you can never get 100% in their class. If you're getting commission at work, you'll never get 100% commission. Why? Why do you operate
Yeah,
that way? That's another power control thing.
yeah.
I
I'm
just
not real
don't get it.
familiar with that as a thing, but I have heard of people doing that. I haven't like I've necessarily experienced somebody who has, but yeah, that's definitely I think like you said a power move, and that's not okay. Like it doesn't like you can work as hard as you possibly can work and get every single thing done the right way, but you're not going to give me the credit that I earned for it.
Right.
Like,
It's like no one deserves 100%. It's like, but I gave 100%, so why don't I deserve
yeah,
100%? That just, it's another power play, which also is like when a teacher says, "Oh, most people don't pass my class." Why?
yeah.
Aren't isn't
Why
the
are you
whole point of
making it?
going to school so you can teach us so that we can pass your class? I don't understand.
Yeah. Do you not want me to learn? Like, I understand the concept of challenging somebody and not making
Right.
it like a cakewalk, but you want me to be successful. Otherwise, what are you here for?
Yeah,
Like, why are you here?
most of my teachers, undergrad and grad school, they wanted to help you. I had a teacher I think it was my second to last semester of grad school. So I was in like 600 level classes, super hard. We were getting into the nitty gritty of stuff I've never done before. And he was like, I understand that this is new for all of you and you're learning, because it was learning like a language, learn data crap. But he was like, I know you guys have never used this program before. This is going to be hard, but if you need help, just reach out. So there would be times when it was 10 o'clock at night and I was on the phone with this guy going over how to do everything, and he didn't care. He was like, any time of the day that you need help, I'll get with you. And that's how, I'm not saying that teachers should take 24/7. They need time for themselves. That's not fair to them. He was the one that
Yeah.
he was the one that told me, "Hey, call me at 10." I wasn't requesting that, but
Yeah.
he was going above and beyond to try and help out because he knew that it was an almost impossible subject.
Yeah. And he wanted his students to prosper. He
Yes,
wasn't just setting them up to fail.
exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't have a choice on the curriculum. He just got thrown into wherever they needed teachers. So he was doing his best to make it so that we don't get screwed because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good teacher. That's a good way to go. I don't get the power trip. It seem again like um these pet peeves circle back to like narcissism and the power plays and like yeah, I guess that does say a little bit about your personality and like how you feel about things, but also they're just dick moves. Like
Yeah.
yeah, just don't be a dick.
I mean,
Like
there are certain
yeah.
personality types that probably bother me more than other people. Like, I don't like, I'm really, I think I'm better than most. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I'm better at most than seeing who a real person is over their facade.
Yeah.
So something like someone who's a manipulator is obviously going to be super nice, super charming, super like friendly, and has a lot of friends. I can see through that. And then I look like the asshole because I'm like, this person's not good. They're manipulating you to get what they want, but no one else sees it that way. So I tend to look like the asshole in that situation. And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because you don't like you can just tell when someone's being phony and you call them out for it, basically. But
But then you
yeah,
don't
I
want
don't.
to because you look like the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I don't care. Like sometimes it comes down to it. I don't care about looking like the bad guy
Me
because
too.
in the end, most of the time I wind up being in the situation because of that. Where like with calling out my sister and my brother-in-law about being late, like they know that's how I feel. So like if they listen to this podcast, that's not new news for them. They know that's how I feel about it. Everybody knows they're late for everything. They know it drives me nuts. So it's like yeah, I sound like a dick for calling them out on a podcast, but they know. Everybody knows. Like they're late for everything. I was watching my niece last week for them because they were going to this event. The event started at 2 o'clock and they didn't drop my niece off until 6. So it's like
Oh my God.
clearly they weren't on time. Like, and I guess the event wound up going all night. It was like I don't know if it was like a birthday celebration. I'm not clear on what the event was, but it was like an all night thing. It went till like 2 in the morning or something. So I guess it's probably better that they weren't there from 2 in the afternoon until whenever. But like, if that thing started at 2, my dumbass. Well, okay, actually, if I knew it wait until like 2 in the morning, I wouldn't be showing up at 2. I'd probably get there at like 3 and leave at 5 because that's just who I am as a person. I will get there early, but if it's like an all day event like that, then I don't want to be the first one there and then have it be weird if people aren't coming until later. But I'm not a social
Yeah.
person, so I'm not trying to be at your event all day. But people who know me know that, so like they know not to expect me to be. I'm not coming for the whole thing. I'm not coming in like, if it's something I'm going to help you set up or whatever, I'll come set up and then I'll leave, then I'll come back. Like if it's a long drawn out thing, but if it's like a regular event, I'm going to be, or like a meeting, I'm going to be early, we're going to have a thing and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't know. These are like, I don't know how I'm feeling now. Like some of these topics felt good to like talk about, get off my chest or whatever. And now I'm just like a little riled up from like thinking about some of them and how they're annoying. But I'm curious. I do want to hear how other people feel about the same topics as us. Like, are they hot topics? Are they like opinions that we have that other people don't? Or do you agree with us?
Are
Because
we
if you
whiny?
agree with us, yeah. Are we just whining? Like, are we complaining just to complain? Or are these things that y'all also feel like are problems? Like, hit us up again on Twitter, chill and chat, and let us know. Are these your pet peeves? What are your pet peeves if they're different than this? And maybe we'll circle back to another episode going over other people's and how, if we agree or disagree with those.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't
Yeah.
annoy y'all too much with this or make you mad because
Yeah.
you do some of these things that we just complained about, but
Yeah.
you'll get over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, but if you do some of these, like take it as a moment to reevaluate yourself and think about like, is it
Reflection.
something that you could change? Yeah. And the same thing, like obviously if we do things that annoy other people and we see it, then that's something that we're gonna think about for ourselves and think about if we could change the way we are. Like I know it drives you nuts that I only read half of the text message. That's just who I am as a person. And I try harder when you text me, especially if it's more than one sentence. Like I'm putting in the effort. I'm trying to read the whole thing. I'm trying to not be that person who reads half the sentence, assumes what it says, and then responds because I'm too lazy to read the rest. I know that's toxic. That's not okay. I know that that's a bad thing, and I'm working on it. It's called
You're not the
reflection
only
and
one.
change.
Yeah, I'm sure I do things that piss other people off, and I know it, and I look into it, and sometimes you just kind of forget. So we try and be better people, but shit
Yeah,
happens.
you can't change and be better if you don't know that you're doing something that's wrong. And now y'all are gonna know these like 14 different things that you're doing that are wrong.
And that you also can't change overnight. So if you have a problem with someone,
Yeah.
remember that they will not change overnight. We will not change
Yeah,
overnight. The people we're upset
yeah,
about in these pet peeves will not change overnight.
yeah,
So
exactly.
You can be
Like,
mad, but
yeah, change our minds.
yeah. But
Yeah,
that's all we have for today. So this
yeah.
is Jill
Well,
and the Child, and we'll talk to you next week.
all right, bye.
Bye.